Welcome to Rick's Corner. The man, the myth, the legend. Now on with the show.
Welcome to Rick's Corner. I made it back just in time because John Hart was waiting by my back door, and I said 2 o'clock, and it's 2:25. In LA, we have traffic. I had a lunch meeting, and then he had a delay. But we're here anyway. We're going to do a show. John Hart was Mr. America, and he's got a hell of a body, and he trains people, and he stays in good shape, and he does it all naturally. Now, a lot of you guys are big on the natural, what they call natty, which I think is a stupid term. I never understood that, and versus taking anabolics and whatever. So I have my own views on this, and so do you.
Yes.
When I started training years ago, I always started natural. I didn't even know what steroids were, but I made good progress doing natural. I did.
That's right.
I did powerlift contest.
That's right.
I didn't know what it was. I just drank 3 quarts of milk a day and ate spaghetti and meatballs and kept going.
Right.
So tell me your views on that. What do you think?
Well, Rick, this one was really near and dear to my heart. I'm not using a pun right there. I'm not judgmental of anybody who chooses to use. That's the first thing. You've always known that, right?
Yeah.
Between us.
I'm not either.
And those who don't. If you choose, you do. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
Choose to use, you do. If you don't, you don't.
Right.
So my views on it, however, are it's up to the individual 100%. And I have a certain amount of respect for those people who use with a purpose. So let's say for competition, or bodybuilding competition, or for sports. I'm not against athletes. I think the greatest athletes in the world. It's very entertaining. Push the barrier. I can understand that. You know what I mean?
But the thing with that is that everybody who does use it, if you're going to compete, if you don't use it, you're not going to have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, at that level, right.
That level. You got to do what they do, or it's not going to happen. And it's the same thing with wrestling. These guys get on shit and they get big, and you're working with guys 250, 300 pounds. What do you come in at 210,
right.
205? It's not going to happen. You've got to do something to get to that size.
And the wrestling schedule is a grind,
It's
too.
a grind, man.
Right?
Yep.
So there's a recovery involved. So really, it's the great thing about Rick and I is that over the years, there's never been that judgmental thing between us. We've understood where each other has been at. In my own case, the road hit at one point where I was training at Gold's Gym in Venice, right, in the late '80s, and I had enough exposure to a lot of the champions of the day, as well as some of the naturals who really were working out right alongside the ones who were using. And to me, they had fantastic physiques.
Yes.
And I had to trust them. That's all. See, there's a trust factor involved too. But on the side, when you're there enough, you start to get a little bit more of the truth, right?
Yep.
Some people that said they were natural really weren't, and there's a little bit of a weak ego involved, right? So
a lot of that.
Yeah. So there's an issue of being honest at some point in time, right? So that. Once I got to know who really was not using, I could see now I had been at Gold's Gym year in, year out, all through the late 80s, the early 90s, and I would see how some of the physiques, they wouldn't go up and down, up and down. They didn't get, massive in the summer and the spring and then lose a little bit. They were consistently looking pretty good, and for me, it became that type of an issue. It was as simple as that, where I just, I'm a strong personality, and I'm sure that I can handle, going up, getting on a cycle, and then coming off. I'm sure that I can do fairly well with that. However, I really preferred the long-term approach, and I saw, a lot of the guys at the gym making that kind of slow, steady gain over the years.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that they were also looking good into their 40s. And into their late 40s and maybe even their early 50s at times. I saw some guys competing in natural shows that looked really good, and they were, about 10 years older than the best of the using counterparts, let's say.
Well, I think the key to that is number one, training properly.
Yes.
Not overtraining, training consistently, and getting your rest and your nutrition. It all plays together. They're all three main things you have to have. Now, egos play a part because guys who go on the drugs, they get big and they get skinny and they get insecure. And you can tell most of the guys in the Venice Army, they got these really round arms, these really round delts, these really round chests. And you don't normally get that by itself unless you're genetically gifted.
Right, very few.
I was down in Venice yesterday. I had lunch at the firehouse, and I saw a few guys like that. It's very obvious. You know, they walk around with their water bottles all day long in and out of the gym. They haven't got a dime to spend on anything. And this is their life. Okay, they like that. Good for them. I never felt that way. I always felt like I just want to be in good shape. Did I take anything? Yes, I took testosterone. I believe I took DECA, which I did not like, and I took D-bol and Winstrol, but very small amounts. And it kept me in good shape for the time. I was doing wrestling, I was doing TV stuff, and I wanted to look good, and it worked for me.
Right.
Nowadays, at my age, I'm not what I was at 35 and 40 or 50. I never will be. And people say, oh, well, you're so much bigger then. Why did you let it go? I didn't let it go. You still work out? Duh.
Yeah.
I work out every day, and I stay in as hard shape. I was 218 today. That's a good weight for me.
You're in your 70s now.
Yeah, 74. I'm 218, just under 6 feet. I'm in hard shape. I train hard. I take 1 cc of testosterone weekly from my cardiologist because he says my heart needs it. It's good for me, and it does help me quite a bit. There's nothing wrong with that. So it's not natural, so what? What about women? I've said this before. They go through menopause. They have to take estrogen. Men go through a male change as well. They need something to do the testosterone replacement.
Right.
It's all over the map, all over the globe, all over the internet, and it does help people from aging and getting really slumpy and out of shape. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't believe in large amounts of it just to win a show or to be the best you can and walk around and say, look at that guy, he looks huge and he's on all this shit, then he has a heart attack and dies.
Right.
You know, I mean, we've seen this happen over and over with some close friends.
Right.
And it's not that important. It's not that important that I look like I did at 35. It's not going to happen. I am where I am. I'm happy where I am. I'm secure with myself. It doesn't really matter. I just want to stay in good hard shape. And even at lunch today, I had an omelet with some beef and cottage cheese.
Yes.
And that was my diet, and some cantaloupe. There's nothing wrong with that diet.
Right.
Right?
Right. Over time, you've been eating similar foods for years, right? But you just cut down or change the portions.
Right. I can't eat a whole lot at one time.
Yeah.
Does it appeal to me to have a cheeseburger and fries? Not really. I'm not a fry eater. I'm not a potato chip guy. I don't drink Coke. Those things, I mean, there's a lot of people that do. They like it. Pizza? Not really. One piece maybe, once in a while. Doesn't appeal to me.
Right. That's changed. We talked about that last time we were together.
So why eat something that you don't enjoy? When you eat something, you get results. And then you can have a steak and salad one night, and you can have a piece of cheesecake or whatever. I had a lemon cookie the other night. It was really good.
Right.
Once in a while it's okay.
See, here's something you just brought up in the middle of all that. If I could backtrack a little bit. You said, being honest. Okay.
Yeah.
So here it is. There were guys in the gym who were being... It was only after I was in the gym for a while. Years had gone by. They knew that I was okay. So they'd share with me some personal stuff, right? So I'd get to hear the truth about what was going on. But the honest part too is if you do decide, and this is just something I've known a lot of guys, 35 years I've been in the gym now, and I'm 53 now, and the one thing that I can say for sure is if you do choose to use, and you're doing it for competition or sport, so basically we're saying right out the gate, you're going to use a supernatural amount of testosterone. And not just bringing your numbers up from 300 to 1100, getting into the upper range that a doctor would test, but really going more like 100 times the normal hormone levels. Okay, if you're going to get, and by the way, don't slam me for that, I'm guessing 100 times. Okay.
No, I mean, but it is quite a bit.
Yeah, going way up there for competition or for sports purposes, be honest with yourself. If you're the strong type of individual, personality, and you can handle, you have to think ahead, because what goes up must come down,
no
right?
question about it.
And so if you can't handle coming down, then you're set to be on a forever cycle. That's what's going to happen. I know you've known guys over these. I have.
Yeah.
They were just never off. They just took, 1/2 a cc for the aggression in between cycles.
I've had. Are you guys? Are you off? Well, yeah, I'm off. I'm just taking a shot of Tist and Deco Poison Deco once a week. Okay, you're not off.
Right. This is never.
But I mean, I never really overloaded on it. I maybe went a little bit more than normal, and then I didn't feel good. I got too big and too bloated, and my blood pressure went up. And I said, I don't want to live like this.
But you know who you are.
Yeah.
As an individual.
Yeah.
You're confident, and you have a life outside of. It's associated with bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But you have also a lot of creative things that you're involved in.
All the time.
Music and art.
Yeah.
So the other things that you want to do with your life, hey, you have a banging girlfriend, right? I mean, so you got to keep things going in the right way.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of tough when the old Johnson has a little bit of problems. And I'm not
Hey,
saying you, of course, right?
It's funny, at my age I don't have a problem. Maybe it's testosterone replacement. Maybe it's attitude. I think a lot of it's attitude. Because I know young guys, 23 years old, they have to go take this Viagra, they take the injection and all that kind of stuff, and they have issues, and I don't know why. I mean, growing up in high school and college and all that, there was never an issue. I never heard of stuff like this. We just did what we did.
Well, now some of us are naturally aggressive too, and have some, natural drive, right?
Right.
Now here's the thing. Here's a funny story for you. One of my good friends, at one point, he was my roommate for years, and when he had come off, and he said, "That's it, I'm done," right? His insurance at one point required him to go in for a physical, so he had to go and take a physical. And within that physical, he asked for a hormone panel too. I don't know why he did, but he did. The doc comes back and says to him, "Are you feeling okay?" And he goes, "Why do you say that, doc?" And he goes, "Because your testosterone is like 13.
Oh boy.
And my friend, he goes like this, "No, I feel great." And he goes, "I mean, everything's working okay, as in, your boy."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, everything's working great." And he looks at him straight in the face and he says, "The only answer I have for you is, you're willing it to happen, because it shouldn't be happening physiologically."
No, but by him saying that, he implanted in his head, watch out next time, it won't work. And then if you think about it, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
My older son's 39, and he was feeling lethargic, and he's moved to Tennessee, and he wasn't doing much. He writes music, and he wasn't really working. He's got a lot of kids. And so he went to the doctor and got a physical, and his testosterone was like 79 or some number like that.
Yeah, you just don't want to know.
And
sometimes.
I said, "Oh my God, you got to do something they're going to do." He says, "They're going to put me on testosterone 200 milligrams a week." Now, he doesn't work out. They just want to up his testosterone. Well, within 2 weeks, his whole attitude changed. He went and got a good job. His enthusiasm was like number one, because he was so low, he needed a boost.
See, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Then you need it. You know?
He doesn't go to the gym. He's not a bodybuilder by any means. He's slightly built, but his body needed this. He needed something to kick his brain in and make him feel good again.
Right. Well, some of us, now I'm just saying, over time, I don't want to know my number, to be honest with you. I don't want to know, because I'm strong enough and confident in myself that I'm fine the way things are, let's say. But I could see the signs. I'm already aggressive enough. That the hair back here, a little yarmulke, it's gone. I shave it off, but the hair,
I know,
going up top, right? And it just in the last 10 years or so, right? So a little DHT, right? So I'm confident enough that I have enough flowing, and then through the bodybuilding, I do believe that bodybuilding training in and of itself helps to keep that testosterone high.
It does help, and eating meat does too. I was in the hospital a few years ago with congestive heart failure and pneumonia, and I dropped down to 197. I'm 218 now, and I was getting really thin. My kids, "Oh, you look so good lean like that. My jeans are falling off me," right? And my testosterone level dropped down to, it's like 100 something, hardly anything. So that's when my cardiologist said, "You need to boost it up." So I boosted it up to 800, which is 600 and 800 now. Excuse me, and it works for me. I mean, I have the fire I need in the gym, and I feel good, and no side effects. And I had to get out of that slump because it wasn't healthy, and also helps me fight injuries, which I have right now in my leg, which is taking forever. But it does help.
Yeah.
Now, being natural, and a lot of you guys write in and say, "Oh, that's not fair," or "The guy's not natural, he competes, and he's not being honest about it." So what?
So what?
What about the guys? What about the guys that go out at night and they get drunk and they do all these things that really aren't good for them, or they'll shoot some other kind of street drugs and all that? Why don't you say something to them about that? They're not being honest either, you know. And then you have the NASCAR races with the super fuels, and they do whatever they can to keep the cars going and beat whatever it takes to beat somebody. It's the way the world works today, and you don't judge somebody by it, because if they're not a friend of yours and they're not hurting you, what does it matter what they do? It shouldn't matter.
No, and the truth is it's up to the individual. I mean, if you're judging, if any of you guys are judging, a NASCAR driver, or you're judging some guy who says he's natural but he's really not. Right. I've been friends with many of them. You too, down at Gold's Gym, who say they are but they really aren't. Yeah. Well, it's on them. But, stay in your own lane. Worry about what's going on with you. I do my own thing. You do your own thing. And we can. I'm friends with you. But at the same time, it doesn't. I want the best for you, man. I want you to be healthy.
It's funny. I met a guy in the gym, and I went today. I met him a while back, and I'll be talking to him. He's big. I said, "So what are you on?" He said, "I don't take anything." I said, "Really?" He said, "Nope." I said, "Come on." I'm Rick Drasin. I know what I'm talking about.
The equalizer,
and
baby.
Then he looks at me and he says, "Well, I'm doing this and this and this and this and that." I said, "See, I told you.
Right.
You don't have to lie to me. I'm not judging you if you do, if you don't. But obviously you are, because you can tell."
Right, and usually the polite thing too is it's probably somebody you've known or seen around the gym for quite a while too. You don't go up to strangers asking questions.
Oh no, I go to strangers.
Oh.
Well, no. Here's what happens. I could be in the gym, I could be at the firehouse or anywhere like that, and people come up to me to watch my shows, like yesterday, man and his wife, and he's talking to me, and I'm up in the Bay Area. It's really nice to meet you. Can I get a picture with you? I said, sure. How's your training? Good. He said, well, I said, what are you taking? He said, I'm just doing a little test, a little this. I just ask him. And they're honest.
Well, that's different. They look at you as Rick the Equalizer, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so they know you. Okay,
Yeah.
You have an in. I'm talking about, you know, I don't go up to guys. You know, some guy is waiting on me in a restaurant. I see he's got muscles. I don't say, what are you taking? You know
I
what
do.
mean? Unless, hey, if he knows me, that's different. You
No,
know?
I've been out to places like by the race park, the Derby, which is a nice restaurant, right?
Yeah.
And I went there one night, and this with my girlfriend that night. And this guy comes up.
Down
He says,
Santa Anita.
I watched your show. I said, you're in good shape. How's your training? He said, doing really good. I said, you on anything? He says, well, I've been taking a little testosterone. I said, well, is it working for you? He said, it seems to be. I said, all right. I just was curious, and I just like to take notes in my head and see what people are doing. So he was honest about it.
See, you're smooth. You're smooth. Most people are not. You know, you come across as just being cool. Everybody wants to be friends with you. I'm not. Hey, I'm serious. Okay, I like the man from the day I met him. You know, everybody wants to be friends with you. They take your personality as being, you know, very smooth and very cool, and not like, you know, hey man, I'm about to judge you. You don't.
I
come
don't.
across
You
like
know,
that.
and I've had some issues this week with my leg really hurting me, and I've been very positive about my life and about what I've accomplished and all that. And then I had a couple of dark days, which I never ever get. And I had said to somebody in my family, I said, I don't know that I want to continue like this with this injury the rest of my life on a cane. If I said I'm going to go out on top, oh, don't talk like that. You help too many people. I said, I know that, but it's just a feeling that came over me for a minute, because it does get hard. It does get hard to be me at the age I am and go through every day and motivate people and get to the gym and do my show and have to get from here to there by myself with a cane. It's difficult. But I don't stop. I just keep going because I know I have to do it. And for all of you out there that have these issues, the minute you kick back and don't follow through in a positive manner to push yourself to go forward, then you fall apart and you die. And it happened to a lot of my friends. They just don't care. They sit home and they get fat, they have heart attacks, and they just don't care. I care. I got kids and 6 grandkids and friends like you and people who look up to me that I need to be healthy for.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's hard when you're not feeling that great. You know, it's just hard. And all of you have been there, and you get up in the morning. I live alone. I get up and I look at my cat, which I inherited from my last marriage, and I looked at the cat. I said, I think we got to get up and start a really good day. And she just looks at me with her eyes, and I said, that alone, the way you looked at me, and you're a little animal, and you're cute as hell, just motivated me to get out of bed and go have breakfast.
Right on.
So there's ways to do things.
No, you got to find motivation.
You do.
For sure.
You
I mean,
do.
and that's the other thing too, is that, see, now you're talking about some people, they suffer from things like depression. Okay. Now, if you're going to, introduce some hormone to that, you got to be ready for that as well. I'm saying this out of concern for some of, you guys watching or listening right now, guys, ladies, is that if there's any tendencies for, depression or what's it called when they go manic and depressive, right? Then it's just going to accentuate it.
Yes.
I mean, you remember the stories from back in the day.
Yes.
I knew some guys at Gold's in Venice that they were, ripping car doors off in the middle of the street after some guy cut them off, and things like that, starting fights, and, and in the end, they were the ones who were really losing. So this is just something that, to me, doesn't make sense. If you have that personality, you got to be, honest again with yourself.
I've never had that happen, but I'm going to go back about 30 years. And somebody gave me a bottle of Anadrol, and I never took it. So I started taking 1 tablet a day. And at that particular time, I had a beautiful girlfriend. I've always had beautiful girlfriends. I just don't, that's what I get. And she was at the gym. It was on a Saturday. She said, honey, are we going out tonight? And I looked at her and I said, why would I go out with you? What are you going to be talking about? I'm not going out with you anywhere. And it was the pill.
Right.
She got upset, and it almost ended our relationship. And I realized, man, this is what it did to me?
Wow.
I'm going off that stuff. I wasn't nice at all.
Right. It made a lot of people nasty.
I'm not like that. And so if you have a tendency to be a little aggressive and a little nasty, it will make it worse.
Gives you, in the beginning, that's what one of the bodybuilders who I had met, who was competing, I had asked him a lot of questions, and he had won some local shows here in SoCal. And when I asked him, what does it do for you? And he said, look, I got to let you know, it makes you more of what you are already. If you're already aggressive, it's going to make you more aggressive. If you're very creative, this was interesting.
Yeah.
He said, it'll almost send you off into more creativity. You want to go into that zone a little bit more often.
Yeah.
If you're, very quiet and subdued, whoa, get ready, because that's where you're heading. So he was really into the, personality, the connection between elevating the hormones and changing hormone levels. It was the changing of hormone levels that he was bringing out to me.
Well, recently I have discovered Cbd oil, which you guys know it's a marijuana without having the effects of marijuana. and for pain and just relaxation. So I have the salve I rub on my leg because it's a tendon. It's basically, I told you, it's a tendon in my calf.
Yes.
And then I take the oil like a half a dropper at bedtime, and it kind of relaxes me. And man, I go out and I'm out, boom, sleeping for like 5-6 hours straight. So I think it's probably a pretty good thing because you need that rest anyway. And you wake up recovered and you feel good.
Right.
So there's solutions to everything, and this stuff's legal now. You can buy it on Amazon. And I did his job for me. I'm just trying to do what I can do. And then you have women who tell me it's that time of the month. Don't get around me. I'm in a bad mood. I'm going through whatever it's called, and they all been there and done that. And
Sure.
then I've had women in my life in their 50s that start their menopause, and every instance I have been around it completely changes them.
Yes.
The hormone imbalance is almost like taking heavy steroids. They love you, they don't love you, they want to be with you, they don't want to be with you, they like you, I want to leave. And it's like, oh my God, I don't know, I can't be around it.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Oh, well. It's part of being with women, you know?
I know, it's part of daily life.
That's it.
You know, one door shuts, another one opens, and I used to tell somebody, women are like city buses, every 20 minutes a new one comes by. So if you're single, you pretty much have your choice. You just got to read all the road signs because they come with a lot of baggage.
Yeah. Oh, so listen. Oh, there's one more thing I want to bring up to you.
Okay.
So one of the things early on, one of the smartest bodybuilders that I had ever met, he was an older gentleman, and his name is Joe Sanseri. I don't know if you know his name, but he's been around Southern California quite a bit.
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay. So when I say smart, I mean he was advising me as a young man at the time. Okay. And when he did, he had said to me, compete. Don't use, at least do it once. At least compete one time, don't use, like this. So you know what that's like. And for me, I did it. I did okay. I didn't shrivel up or shrink up. You know, and I know some of you guys are looking at me saying it's not like I'm big in the first place, okay? So I got you. I feel
no, you look great. You're in good shape. That's what it counts. That's
thank you.
What matters.
I appreciate that. Well, there's going to be haters. It's going to be haters. I know that there are. But I'll run with the guys who are loving it. So, and when he did that and told me this, for me, I did compete without it. I saw that I didn't change radically as far as my size went. I was able to hold on to muscle, so it kind of spurred me on to go further.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I would like to pass on to everybody watching and listening is at least try it one time without using anything. Try it. Give it an honest effort, 12, 16 weeks, get in the best shape of your life, and then see if I'm not right, and see if you can do it. Just you as an individual might have great hormone levels naturally, and you may, in fact, in the end, decide, well, I don't really need to go down that road.
You might have genetics.
Yeah, or, on the other hand, maybe it's just you're suffering completely, in which case you might need the hormone.
Well, the bottom line with that is go to a doctor, get a blood test. They will tell you everything you're low in. And if you need something, they will give it to you legally and tell you how much to take. That's the only way to do it. Don't buy it at the gym. Some of the stuff is made, their home chemistry sets. God knows even what's in there.
Bathtubs.
You don't want to mess with that stuff. Go to your doctor and do it right. And speaking of Joe Sanseri. Okay.
Yes.
I knew Joe very, very well. He worked for a World Gym out in the Valley, Panorama City, for Joe Gold. He ran the gym. Joe and I were friends, good friends, a long time. He used to carry around a bag full of steroids to sell to everybody in and out of the gym. That's how he made his living outside of the gym. He was a big guy. He was older. He had huge arms.
Massive.
Oh my God! He'd do like 100 reps on curls.
Yep.
I used to call him Jabberjaw because he would talk like Popeye.
That was a nerve thing.
Yeah, I know, but we called him Popeye. He didn't care. And he would drive around in a Corvette and with the top down in the middle of winter with one of these deep tanning bed tans and with his arms sticking out of the sides.
Tank top too, right?
Tank top, yeah. He didn't care. Aren't you cold? No, I'm fine. I said, my God, it's freezing outside. But he had to show his body. All right, long story short with Joe. Joe met a girl that was from Bakersfield where I grew up, and she had a twin sister. And I knew her from high school. And he didn't know that I knew her. And I used to work at a gym up there, and she would come in and use the gym that I was on ladies' days. And she always liked me. And she's, at the end of the time, it was 10:15. She's like, I got a shower and I'm going to leave. I said, you're the last one here. Make it quick. So she yelled, Rick. I said, what? She said, can you bring me a towel, please? I'm not going to tell you what happened after that. But then I went out with her, and then her twin switched on me, and then I went out with her, and it was the same thing. So I didn't care. It was the same deal. Anyway, she met Joe. He fell in love. He bought her fur coats and diamond rings and jewelries and cars and all this stuff, and she took him for everything he was worth, and then she dumped him. And he was so heartbroken. He was so heartbroken. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. And I knew it was coming, but I didn't want to say anything. And I went to high school with this girl. I knew what she was like. Then Joe passed away several years ago. He has a son, Steve. I don't know where Steve is, but I'll put some pictures up of Joe. He was quite a guy. He was a good guy. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
He had a lot of good information, and he was smart.
So did I. And well, he affected a young man.
Yeah.
You know, coming out the gate. So he was influential, at least in me at the beginning. I just ran with it past that point.
There's other guys that affect young men coming out of the gate. We're going to talk about that.
That's another conversation.
That's another conversation. So, in closing,
Yes.
Do whatever you want to do. Be safe. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm not telling you not to do it. But don't judge others and make fun of them if they're on something and call them names that are not natty. Who cares? Who really cares? Everybody's a human being. We're all in this world for something. Everybody I look differently now at my age. I look at this person. He's got a mom and a dad. He was a child once. He was raised in a family. He's probably a good guy. I look on the good side of him. I don't look on the negative side because there's a good side to everything. And I had done something about a quote that I had that we all have our own story. And if you walk around the town or around the world and you look at this guy and that girl and this kid and that one, everybody has their own story. They go home at night and they do whatever they do, which is completely different than us. But whatever they do and whatever they like, that's them. That's what completes them. And you have to respect them for who they are because they have one life and that's their story. And they can live their story any way they want. And they need to share it with other people like we do. And I respect them for that. And I love everybody and I don't hate anybody. And that's what it's all about.
That was good. That was a speech, man. That was really good.
That's how I honestly feel.
That was very good.
This is how I honestly feel.
Yes.
And I just want to say one more thing. Do you go to the movies?
No.
I didn't think that you did.
No.
Well, I'm a movie buff. I go every Friday and Sunday if I'm allowed to.
Yes.
If I have the time, and lately I have a lot of time. Kind of like single again, so I do what I want. So I went to see, if any of you have seen this, the Crazy Rich Asian movie.
Oh, I heard about this.
Oh my God. Take some Kleenex.
Oh,
It's
wow.
funny, it's adorable, it's sad, it's beautiful. There's a wedding, you're going to cry. There's a finish, you're going to cry, and you're going to walk out sobbing because it touches your heart. It really touched my heart. And what a great movie. That's why I can't recommend it enough. It's one of the best movies all year. I think it's going to get an Academy Award.
Wow.
And then, of course, you got Mission Impossible. I'm doing movie reviews now.
Yes.
Which was a good movie.
I like Mission Impossible.
I did too.
See that.
But then Sunday I went to see a movie called Kin, K-I-N. Have you heard of it?
No.
It's a sci-fi movie. Dennis Quaid and James Franco. And Dennis Quaid is a single father, and he adopted this black kid who's 14, nice boy. He has a son coming out of prison. He says, stay away from him. He's nothing but problems. But he comes out, and this kid goes into one of these tenements. You see, like in New York, these abandoned big buildings. And he goes in, and you see these 3 dead bodies and helmets. They're like space people. And he goes down an elevator shaft, and he finds this box like this. And the box actually opens up, and it's a ray gun.
Wow.
And so he keeps it. And he ends up hanging out with his brother who gets in trouble in bars. And one day he shoots this bar and annihilates the whole wall. And then it goes on from there. And I'm not going to tell you the finish. But man, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. And I looked around, and I was the only one in the theater.
Wow.
No one wanted to see it but me. I guess they saw it previously, but it's called Kin, K-I-N. It's a sleeper, and
Now I want to see it.
that's good. It's a good action film. I like movies. I think it's fun to watch how things are produced and how they put them together. And the storylines are really important because even with wrestling, when I was wrestling, you have a beginning, a middle, and an ending, and you have to tell a story.
No.
It's just like this show. You have a beginning, a middle, and an ending. You tell a story.
That's right.
And I'm big on stories. I have 1,000 stories from the past, from the 70s and 80s, that people like to listen to, the little characters I've run into in my life on the road, wrestling in the gyms, and man, I got a lot of them. And I haven't forgotten one of them.
Wow.
So when I go to my son's house and he has all of his relatives, Dad, tell some of your stories. You know, you want me to? So I do. And the guys laugh and the women's mouths drop. But they're good ones, and that's all I got to say about that. Thank you, John, for being here.
Hey, man, thank you so much.
It's always fun.
My pleasure.
And I might have rambled on a bit, but if I don't say it now, another 10, 20 years, I won't be around. I won't be able to say anything. At least you can remember this and have fun with it.
Well, it's been my pleasure to be a part of your show. I enjoy coming back here again. Hopefully I can come back again and we'll have another interesting topic.
Oh, I see no problem with that at all.
That'd be great. Oh, and by the way, can I share a little bit? YouTube channel.
Yes, do.
Can I mention
Please.
it? My YouTube channel on mine is Mr. America Heart, 3 words. And I've been pumping out video after video, just simple things on exercises, other simple things like young men and how to shake hands, or how a man should walk on the sidewalk versus the lady. Which side should he take? Simple things like that.
Yeah, that's very important, actually.
Yeah.
You know, it.
So please visit it.
The world is a very tough place to be in, but a real man will do the right thing, and even if it's hard, it's just got to do the right thing. It's all about being the right type of guy with a woman, with people, with a handshake, with courtesy and politeness, and it gets you a long way. I talk to everybody I go out and I teach. treat everybody with respect, because that's the way men should be, and there's a lot of men that don't.
Yeah, well, we'll have a lot to speak about next time.
You got it.
Okay.
Stay tuned for next time,
Yes.
and we'll see you then.
Thank you.
Eat your Wheaties. Everyone, now you can have the Gold's Gym logo drawn by me, the artist Rick Drasin, personalized and made out to you and signed by me to frame and put on your gym wall or wherever you see fit to do so. It's a piece of bodybuilding history. It will never be duplicated again. It's the largest selling icon t-shirt logo in the world, and I'm the guy that drew it, and I will draw it for you. Just go to my website, rickdrasin.com, and order there. You can pay through PayPal, and it'll be sent out right away. And be sure to watch Rick's Corner for all the videos on bodybuilding, nutrition, fitness, pro wrestling, and anything that suits your interest as far as getting physically fit and being the best you can be from the golden era of bodybuilding.
It's Rick Drasin. He's the equalizer, baby. See you next time.